Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for high-level traders to learn valuable trends and strategies, connect with other top traders, and become consistently profitable. Click the link in the description of this video to receive a special offer on our revolutionary PS60 training, access to our daily chat room filled with experienced traders, and so much more. Space is limited, so make sure you don't miss out. We look forward to seeing you in the room.
Hey guys, happy weekend everybody, and welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. I want to send everybody out an early happy Thanksgiving, because again, for all you guys who are not part of our community, you guys see this video once a week, so I want to wish you guys a very, very healthy and happy Thanksgiving. Again, this whole trading thing is just, it's really an area of our lives that is so small, okay, compared to our loved ones, our family, our kids, our dogs, whatever your love is and your passion is in life. So really, take a day, take a moment, just take a time of your life to really appreciate what you have instead of what you wanted. And that's kind of what we segue into the market. This is traditionally a very, very bullish season, right? Everybody knows, and if you haven't traded long enough, there is a very bullish tendencies most years that you will have the Thanksgiving rally. And again, a lot of the Thanksgiving rally is really stemmed on a lot of small cap names, a lot of people pumping, schmumping, whatever the hell it's called. A lot of speculation money, right? A lot of speculation money, and that usually spills over into the Santa Claus rally, and then it spills over into the January effect, right? Like these are like the three intervals towards the fourth quarter that are very, very bullish, traditionally bullish for the market. The problem is it doesn't have to happen, okay? It just doesn't have to happen. And right now we're in a bearish cycle, okay? In a bearish cycle, again, I know if there's children around, close their eyes and ears. People are very, very sensitive when you use the word bear. Again, if the market goes up every single day for 3-4 months, right? What is that called? It's called the bull market. So why can't the market for the last month and a half, 2 months go down? Why can't that be a bear market? I know. Pause, correction. I know. Most important thing, it doesn't make a difference what you call it, okay? You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. We trade in reality, okay? We don't trade in fantasy world. So when we get into, quote unquote, the traditional, right? The traditional time of bullishness in the marketplace, we're still trading in our reality, okay? Not the reality that we want, right? In our reality. Yes, we want the market right now to be above all supply. Amazon going to 2,000, Tesla going to 12,000, Apple going to 800, right? Oh my God, rip your face off, bull rally. But the reality is, again, if you've been following me, especially in this YouTube channel, just in the last 2 months, you know where we are, okay? You know where we are. We know where the bias is, okay? We can't will and want the market to do things. We can't buy the dip, okay? We can't keep on buying the dip when there's no market structure to support a theory of buying the dip. When you see every single rally get hit with monster supply, you can't put the blinders on and saying everything is going to be okay. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but you can't put yourself as a trader. You're a trader. You're an alpha hunter. You're a person who's trading with an area of strength. You're not the prey. You're not the victim. So why would you sit there and hope and pray and maybe sometimes and hopefully it will happen? No. You take what's in front of you, you digest information, you gather the data. I say this every single week, and you trade based on confirmation. Again, I don't care what your process is. Okay, everybody knows I trade beta. I trade the same literally 9-10 stocks every week. Okay, I'll sprinkle in some trades here and there on other names, but I primarily trade the same 8 to 10 stocks every single week because, again, they trade as a tribe, okay? One is weak, they're all going to be weak. One is strong, they're probably all going to be strong, and they represent speculation money. But again, I don't care what type of trader you are. If you think it's 95 degrees outside right now, right, and you come outside in a fur coat, you're an idiot. Okay, if you go outside and it's and it's 0 degrees in a snowstorm and flip-flops and a tank top, you're an idiot. We can't trade based on what we want to see happen. Okay, reality is reality. This is the only business in the world, and I said this all the time. When things are on sale, people don't want to buy. The whole buy the dip theory is a bull market slogan. Okay, it's a bull market slogan. How do you know? Every single time we run up into supply, the market goes down. These spreads, right? And for all you guys who trade beta, you kind of see this. You spreads in your NVIDIAs. We'll get to NVIDIA in a second. NVIDIA and Netflix and Amazon and Google. They get wider and wider and wider because there's less participants in the market. It's always the case. You have less liquidity, you have bigger spreads. So who is buying the dip? Unless you're sitting there, Fidelity Magellan, Steve Cohn, all these monster hedge fund managers are sitting there for the next 5 years trying to accumulate stock at very, very attractive levels. You can't tell me Joe Schmo sitting in Wichita, Kansas is bidding for 100 shares of Amazon because the stock can't go any lower. Why? Right? So it's a very, very delicate area of the market we're in. Again, we are underneath all supply. Again, it's not an opinion. Okay, I'm not a bull. I'm not a bear. I'm an opportunist. We speak from both sides of the market. I trade pivots. I trade ranges. It doesn't make a difference to me which way the wind is going to blow. But again, we trade on reality. We don't trade on fantasy world. So what is the market telling us? Okay, last week we came in, we had a very, very definitive range that we talked about. Okay, it was very, very obvious. There was no room for interpretation. We talked about the area of support that needed to hold this 170 level. Then we talked about this next area of support that we needed to hold 166. And again, it's not buy the dip. Okay, it's sell, it's sell, it's sell, it's sell confirmations. Again, when you see stocks not being able to rally with every single uptick in the futures, or being sold in dollars on every single wave of sellers, it's a very, very obvious sign you are going the wrong way if you are a perma bull. Okay, it's just very, very obvious. And again, and I say this all the time, you hear a lot of these slogans on social media, and it's really amazing. You hear all these slogans on social media: sit on your hands, right? Cash is a position. These are great, these are these great safe words. They're fantastic safe words, but these are safe words used from bull market traders that don't have a process if the market goes down. Who's to say yes? Traditionally, in 100 years, will the market be higher than Friday's close? Yes, right? Unless we blow up, unless a meteor strikes the earth, we will probably be higher than 100 years later than where we are today. Okay, but are we guaranteed to go higher Monday? Are we guaranteed to go higher in January? Are we guaranteed to go higher in March and in June? Are we guaranteed? Again, materialistically, there's nothing out there that would suggest that we can go higher. But the reality is we're going lower, right? You can see it. We're below the 50, we're below the 100, we're below the 200-day moving average. And hell, now we're just trying to fight to get above the 5-day, which it keeps on getting rejected 3 days in a row. So if you're a trader, okay, Bank of America or Chase or Wachovia or any other institution that you do business with, they're not going to sit there, okay? They're not going to sit there for a month, 2 months, 3 months, waiting for the market to go green so you can put on a position to pay your mortgage. Okay, it just doesn't work that way. You can't have it both ways. You can't be a little bit pregnant. So anybody who's sitting there and saying, well, it's hard right now, the volatility, the market's going down. Again, God gave you 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 feet, 2 hands. You could trade from both sides of the market. The old saying goes, right? Staircase up, right? Staircase up, elevator down. When these ranges get confirmed, they're getting murdered. Okay, they're not going down in 50-cent intervals. These stocks are getting absolutely murdered. So if you're a new trader right now, how can you possibly set a foundation for yourself that you're sitting there looking for daily charts to confirm, buying the breakout when all the indexes are below supply? Okay, and there's no guarantee. Okay, there's absolutely no guarantee that they're going to kind of resurrect life, and out of nowhere, starting Monday, all of a sudden we got this traditional bull market rally to our end of the year. There's no such thing as guarantees. There's A, there's B, and then there's Z, right? There's A, there's B, and there's Z. Whether you make it past that is a whole different story, okay? It's all about market structure, and when you're trading on a day-to-day basis and you're an active participant on a day-to-day basis, it's incredibly important to understand how market structure works, why the market goes up, why the market goes down, and you better have a strategy, okay? You absolutely better have a strategy and a process to make sure that your bills are paid when the market doesn't go in your bias. It's very, very important. So this week, again, a lot of selling this week. A lot of selling this week. You had the NASDAQ falling by over 2%. The Dow dropped by over 2%. The S&P actually held up a little bit better than everything else, 1.6%. This week, again, you can blame technology, Apple, right? You can blame Apple for selling. for the selling in tech, sure. Why not? You could blame Apple. Why not? You could blame anything you want. You could blame the headlines, U.S. trade war, war with China. You could blame oil. You can blame the Russians. You could blame, you could blame Mookie Betts for winning the AL MVP. You could blame whatever you want, whatever your heart desires. But again, the facts are the facts. The reality is reality. It doesn't make a difference why we're down. Okay, most important thing is what's going to happen next. And this is kind of where we are. If you look at the market structure, again, forget about what happened last week. Okay, first of all, I thought it was a really strong week of trading for all you guys who've been, obviously in the live webinar, but especially following me on multiple social media platforms, Twitter and StockTwits, all the same. We were just literally sell bias the whole week, just literally sell bias the whole week. There was actually one day, I think it was Monday. If you follow my Twitter handle, literally, I was just giving out pivot after pivot after pivot after pivot at the open. And when these things were coming, when they confirmed the previous day's channel, Amazons, Apples, I mean, they were getting just destroyed. It was literally a flash crash at the open. And this really preceded the whole week. You had some headlines in the middle of the week that got the market moving higher. The market was saved 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row by some China headlines. It doesn't make a difference. But again, from where we're going forward, okay, where we're going forward is going to be very, very important. Now, here's the picture we want to paint, okay? So we know, and this is the chart of the NASDAQ 100, okay? So we know everything is under supply, okay? And all these lines, again, for a lot of new traders, that the most regular question I get, frequent question I have is, why do you have so many lines? Okay, number one, these lines are showing you where all emotional buyers are meeting technical sellers. So every single time it hits one of these lines, right? Hits a line, fades. Hits a line, fades. Every time it comes up on the bottom channel of these lines, okay, the market gets saved. And speaking of saving the market, have you guys noticed every single time the market's about to literally catch your fist in the middle of the day, you get a headline from Trump or get a headline about China? You guys notice that? It's like clockwork. It really is like clockwork. And again, at the end of the day, how many times can we hear the same headline over and over again? We get it. You're going to, we get it. You're going to eventually one day in the next 30 minutes to 30 lifetimes, you're eventually going to strike a deal with China. We get it. The world doesn't want to hear the labor pains. We just want to see the baby. So enough of this whole, tweet frenzy in the middle of the day, really screwing up trades. I had literally 2 trades this week screw up because of one of these headlines. I had a phenomenal trade going on Netflix. I was making sales along the way to the upside. And then one of these headlines came in. It stopped me out break even in seconds. I'm talking about like a $2 move in seconds. So yes, I think I can speak for every single trader out there. Please, enough with these headlines. Either get it done or don't get it done. But just please, enough with the midday headlines. I think everybody can really relate to that. So let's talk about the up and coming week. Okay, let's talk about the up and coming week. Look, if you're expecting a rally, there's 2 things going to need to happen. Okay, number one, and again, I would love to see a rally, no doubt, love to see a rally just like everybody else. The problem is, if you look at the NASDAQ 100, okay, number one, there was a big disconnect the whole week. The Dow was down, the NASDAQ was down. The Dow was up, the NASDAQ was down. So there's a big disconnect, okay? Blame Apple, blame NVIDIA, blame whoever you want. Blame whoever you want, the facts are the facts. So for the NASDAQ 100, the QQQs, to have a good week or a good month of rallying, they're going to have to reclaim a lot of supply zones. Number one, it's going to be the 5-day, okay? Number one's going to be the 5-day. So you have to really curb your enthusiasm, okay? Because again, if we reclaim this 168.70 on a close, then we get hit more supply at 69.25. If we reclaim 69.25 on the close, then there's more supply at 70. But you can see how hard it is taking step by step by step. The bears, on the other hand, you can see had a much easier case. Once the 10-day got confirmed, look at the move. And again, look at the room it has all the way down to the channel. I said it was going to get down in the beginning of last week. I said it was going to get down to the 163 level. The low of this week was 163.40, so it didn't quite get down to the 163 level. But again, at least you can see, just from the naked eye, you can see how much room it has for a possible measured move. If you're trying to stake a claim on the bullish side, again, guys, a lot of trees. Number one, it's going to need to get above 68.70. This is $1.30 lower than we closed on Friday, so it's going to have a lot of energy to get up to here, and there's going to be a lot of energy to get to here. And the last time that we got up to here, we got rejected. So again, I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm saying is they're going to need a lot of work. So entering this week, you know, I'm not bearish. I'm not sell side-ish. Okay, I'm more sell biased for sure, based on, again, where we are in the general cycle. But I did like what I saw on some names on Friday. So I liked what I saw on Tesla. I traded Tesla. We'll talk about that in a second. I liked what I saw on Tesla. I liked the recovery in Roku. I liked the recovery in Apple. So there are definitely bright spots. I like what I saw in Tulo. We traded Tulo on Friday. I liked what I saw there. What I didn't like, again, obviously in the video, right? And again, if you really think about it, there was no juice in the stock prior to earnings. Okay, I didn't see anything, even on the options side, that would suggest anybody was making any big bets, unless I missed it. But again, I don't like what I'm seeing in the video. Obviously, that's going to have a big effect going forward for the SMHs, all the semiconductors. Amazon, can you really love what you saw on Amazon, right? You know, we had some really good, strong pivots on Amazon this week. But they were on the short side. You know, they were on the short. I think we had one on the long side as well, but they were on the short side. The one constant we kept on seeing this week was when a pivot was confirming the upside, like Amazon was going up $3, $4. When the pivot was going down to the downside, it was going down $10 to $15 an interval. So you could clearly see where the bias still is. So again, you have to be discouraged in the majority of the stocks out there. Again, Amazon, look, hit the 5-day once, failed. Hit the 5-day twice, failed. So Amazon, for it to get going, it's going to really need to at least reclaim the 1625. And if you look at for example, the 60-minute chart, you can see the same thing. The high here where it got rejected was 1625. So these bulls are going to need a lot of work to do. So, you know, going into this week, again, individual stocks obviously are going to have their value. The scoreboard, does it really make a difference? Like I looked at the scoreboard on Friday and I go, wait a minute, the market's up. Everything we're doing is to the downside, or at least all the value was the downside that we saw. So just remember, going into this week, number one, it's a shortened week. It's Monday and Tuesday. There should be some expansion channels. I think Wednesday is probably going to be, Tuesday and Wednesday actually are going to be very, very busy holiday travel days. So you're going to see a lot more contraction to the markets. We basically don't expect monster ranges to break out. And Thursday's Thanksgiving, everybody's off, and Friday is a half day, a shortened session, which usually shortened sessions are pretty good. I haven't decided if I actually want to trade on Friday or kind of take an extra day for the weekend. I'll make my decision kind of midweek. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Friday, again, Friday we had a pretty decent day. What the hell did I trade on Friday? I traded mostly Tesla and I traded NVIDIA. Okay, there was, and we'll show you exactly why. We'll show you exactly why. Again, pivots have they have no bias. They have no favorites. They don't care which way. As long as there's a confirmation channel, it should work. So let's talk about Friday. Again, I only traded Tesla and I traded NVIDIA. So I really like Tesla. Again, everybody knows. I think you have to be under a rock or not following me at all. Everybody knows this is my favorite stock, week in, week out, day in, day out. It's just very, very important. I love the structural balance. Say what you want about the company, and Elon Musk will say the stock on its own 2 feet is probably, I'm almost saying this as a certain, it's probably, I'm trading close to 20 years, and this is probably the best stock I've ever traded, both ways. It's just really a great trading stock. You can see this pre-market 10 to 9 on Friday Eastern time. Tesla just needs a strong 349 build to spike higher lows in the last 4 sessions, which is saying a lot considering how weak the market was. And here's the chart on Tesla. Here's the chart on Tesla daily. And you could see at 4 days in a row of higher lows. And here was 349, right? Here's the 349 channel. And if you look at the 60-minute view, again, you can see it. Here's a 60-minute view of Tesla, this long, long view. And I said, there's a shot. If this thing gets to 49, it could go to 54. Now, why 54? And I'll show you in a second. Right here, let's go here. So here's a tweet right away. As soon as it started going, right away I said, hey, there's a puncher shot against the 354. And people said, well, why 354? It was the higher candle from November the 9th. So if anybody's asking me why it stopped initially at 54, this was the area right here. So Tesla's setting up for next week. You can see it. And you can see you don't have to be the greatest chart analyst in the world. You can see how it's setting up to test those 5750 highs from November the 8th. But, big spike on Tesla, big spike on Tesla. And here's NVIDIA. Here's NVIDIA. My first trade of the day on NVIDIA was to the upside. And again, NVIDIA got killed. They were down like 30, 35, 36%. And I said pre-market at Morning Strategy, but there's no way in hell I can justify shorting the stock opening range lows. And I didn't. The stock went down like $2, $3. I couldn't do it. But I wanted to see a pivot to the upside. And NVIDIA, and I said this, NVIDIA for aggressive traders. Again, not every single stock is right for everybody. NVIDIA for aggressive traders, 169.10 needs to confirm. If it can reclaim and build, it can spike. So here's NVIDIA, right? Here's NVIDIA. Here's the 60-minute channel on NVIDIA. And right over here, here's the highest candle into supply. And you can see here, the highest candle into supply was 169.10, right? 169.10. So it needed to build, and it built. I bought the stock, and it ripped up. It ripped up. The biggest, it moved up from 69.10 to like 170.66. And then again, like I said, we have no bias with these things. We really, really don't. And I tweeted this out. As you can see, there wasn't a lot of things going on Friday. A lot of things were really contracting. But then, here's another pivot. This is an hour later, okay? 166 line in the sand. If it builds below, it can flush. So we had one pivot to the upside, 69.10, and now 166 line is the line in the sand. If it builds below, it can flush. Again, it's not an alert. This is organic price action that if it reclaims certain levels, has an incredibly high probability to following through in that direction. And look at the video. Again, look at the video right here. So here is the lowest candle in this channel, which represented 166.02. This candle confirmed, right? This candle confirmed, and then the stock got just destroyed. It went down to like 163 in the next hour and a half. So again, pivots have no bias. They just don't care. And our job, because there's only 6 candles throughout the day, it really does take away the emotions, okay? It really does. We know the top of the candle, we know the bottom of the channel, and we just need them to wait patiently for them to confirm and go in that direction. And that's the bottom line. That's what the PS60 theory is. And 99.9999999% of the people, they don't even know this stuff exists. Okay, only us, only we trade this thing. Again, you can go on YouTube, find any single strategy, any single process. I promise you will not find this. So it's something we found. It's something that we've been trading now. I've been trading almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years in May. So for the last 6 years, we've been trading these pivots, and pretty good. So going to this week again, here are your macro channels on the QQQs. Again, I don't see a lot of enthusiasm to the upside, but you never know. 68.70, 168.70 on the Qs. First move to 69. If they really get aggressive, maybe they can stretch out to 70. So that's your upward bias. Your downward bias on the Qs for the week coming up is 63.50s. If they really start closing, any close below 63.50s is very, very bearish. And we should have a puncher's chance of testing the lows from October the 29th. Again, these are not opinions. I'm not smart enough to have an opinion. I'm an idiot. Correction. I am the king of the idiots. So I'm not smart enough to try to figure out which way the market's going to go. We let the data that we collect, that's right in front of us, okay? Nobody's hiding these, these data points in front of you. They're right in front of you, okay? All you need to do is accept and really embrace technical analysis, and I promise your career will really start to flourish, and you'll start taking baby steps to where you need to go. So let me give you guys some ideas for Monday's session. So let's start out with TLRY. When they, I can't even say they blew up. They didn't blow up on earnings at all, which I was very, very surprised. They really didn't go down. I mean, it really didn't go down on earnings, which I was very, very surprised. And you can see here how it held this rising linear regression line. You see these two channels, guys? You see these two candles, right? 113.85. You see that? 13.85, and yes, and Friday's low was 12.90. If it can reclaim 114, okay, you guys see that? If it can reclaim 114, then your next move is to 116, breaks 116. You have a shot at 125. Which is the 50-day moving average. So definitely keep an eye on TLRY. Tesla, again, looks great. Looks ready to go. Again, I would love to get a better entry than 57.60, right? 57.60, 58. I'm hoping for a down open on Monday so we can catch a sneaky pivot on Tesla. But again, for the week, this will be the big number, 357.60. And if it goes, I mean, you can see how much room there is above. So definitely keep an eye on Tesla. That's a good one to definitely watch. I like Roku. Roku looks pretty good. Roku looks pretty good for Friday. The daily chart really is not going to paint the picture for Monday, actually. If it could confirm this channel, right? If it could confirm this channel above 45.70, there's a shot it goes to 47. I mean, look at this thing. This is all you need to know. If it could just reclaim this candle here, the highest candle into supply in the 60-minute, there's a shot it goes. I kind of like Apple. Same chart as Roku. If it could reclaim, again, the highest candle into supply at 195, there's a shot it goes to, so keep an eye on that. I like Starbucks. Starbucks looks good. Look at the daily chart. Pretty self-explanatory. Last three candles here were just a tad below 69. If it reclaims 69, who knows, maybe rallies to 72. And NVIDIA, again, NVIDIA is kind of it's one of these things that you don't need to be very creative. Look, if you're an aggressive trader and they gap this thing higher, right, consider going green to red. Pretty simplistic. Again, remember, that's not a pivot, okay? That's not a pivot. The pivot is going to be below 63. Now, somebody's going to say, why 63? Again, if you look at the bottom three candles here, again, 163 is the low here, 163 is the low here, 163 is the low here, It needs to crack the 163 to possibly test Friday's pre-market low of 161.60. So for all you guys who are joining us this week, the live webinar starts up every day at 9 o'clock with Morning Strategy. Then I get on the mic. I share my screen. There's no trick photography. It's all organic pivots. Just as FYI, people always talk about all these different Black Friday sales. We actually are having one, not on the workshop. We are actually having, because I believe they're so discounted, and I know it really is compared to the, anyway. We will have some sort of package together for yearly and lifetime packages, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, guys, have an awesome Thanksgiving, okay? Have an awesome Thanksgiving. I pray to God for everybody just to be happy. That's all I care about in the world. Just be happy. Just be a good person. Just learn to smile. Life is not that serious. Trading shouldn't be that serious. And it's only scary when you don't have a process. Guys, God bless, and I'll see you all in the field Monday. Take care, guys.